Joining me today on the Day for Freedom is Marie Gravoso, who is an associate lawyer at Brennan Partners LLP in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Marie, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. I would love to know, so you're a lawyer, but what is your involvement with Christian Legal Fellowship?
Oh, I am a member of Christian Legal Fellowship, and during my law school, I was involved in hosting the Christian Legal Student Conference at Robson Hall, which is the Faculty of Law in University of Manitoba. So it was such an amazing experience to talk about the integration of law and faith. And I think one of the most memorable experiences of that conference is to be able to worship together at the common law room and with the dean as well as the associate dean at that time. So I think that's something that I would never forget.
That sounds like a really special
Yeah,
encounter. Fantastic. We have partnered with and heard a lot from International Justice Mission, or IJM, as many people know. I know you are involved as well. Would you mind sharing a little bit about how you're connected?
for sure. So when I was in my third year of law school, I applied as a legal intern of IJM Cebu legal team. So that is in the Philippines. And I interned with them from December 2020 to June 2021. So about 6 months.
And would you mind sharing maybe a story of impact while you were doing that?
Yeah. So for me, one of the most memorable experiences would be being involved in hosting a roundtable discussion. So we had about 60 IJM lawyers all throughout the Philippines, prosecutors and law enforcers to discuss financial investigation and evidence. And that being one of the ways that we can look into perpetrators sending payment via money transfer agency. So being able to detect that would definitely help in investigation and evidence that would lead to hopefully sentencing um, through a court process.
How, from your experience of this, how important is the law when it comes to helping potentially just even bringing justice or even helping end human trafficking?
So I think it is quite important, not just the Philippine law or the Philippine legal system, but the US legal system and Canadian legal system as well. Because when we are looking into cases that could be persuasive arguments in favor of sentencing, they also look at the other legal systems and practices in different countries. And also for example, the practices in prosecution, such as the VD, as we call, or video in depth interviewing, in cases where the child survivor would have to testify in court, they would be protected from having to um, be in the same room as the accused or being in the open court itself. So practices like that would be important, not just in the court process, but at the same time protecting the victims um, in order to safeguard their well-being and prevent them from having to be re-traumatized from what they have experienced.
Absolutely. Well, so appreciate what you do in that regard, truly. Um, it sounds like, while this was part of your schooling, a bit of the practicum that you took, it sounds like your heart is also to help victims overcome this trauma in different ways. Um, Bit of a personal question. Hope that's all right.
That's all
Why,
good.
why, according to you, do you think someone should care about people, especially women and children, caught in human trafficking?
Um, I think for me, there's actually two reasons for that. One is personally, I have witnessed um, the situation in the Philippines as I grew up there and um, see the poverty and being one of the reason why some of the traffickers had to go um, and and proceed with this crime. Um, and for me, that is heartbreaking to see people in my, I would still say my home country, um, as it became a part of my life. Had to go through um, tough situations like that, and especially the victims. And my heart goes for them. Um, and another thing I think is because of my faith. I think the Lord is his heart is after those who are in pain and suffering, and not just physically, but mentally, and also having to go through um, excruciating experiences. So I think for me, it's my faith, and also because of where I grew up. Um, we value our family. We also value other people in our community. So I think that's very important for me.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your heart on that. Is there anything else that you wanted to share today on the Day for Freedom?
Yeah, I think that even though we are in Winnipeg and not in sunny Philippines, I think we can all support IJM's initiatives in whatever capacity we can. And if you are compelled to partner with IJM to end modern slavery and trafficking for good, I encourage them to go to www.igm/free. And I think that the global crime requires global solution as well. And it needs the cooperation of all stakeholders. And that includes us, social media platforms, money transfer agencies, law enforcement, and other organizations in the Philippines and also globally. So hopefully, I can see more people getting involved and taking up that burden as well, and that heart for other women and children in the Philippines and in other countries.
Less heavy when we carry it together, isn't it?
That is true.
Thank you so much for your time and for your heart, Murray. Um, it's been a pleasure just to know that there are incredible people in professions such as, being a lawyer that are fighting for the rights, and I really appreciate that. Thank you, and I hope you
Thank
have
you
a
so
great
much.
rest of your day. You bet.